All right, welcome everyone to the August 3rd, 2023 meeting of the Scio Township Environmental Sustainability Task Force. All right, we don't have any upfront stuff, so I'll just go anything from the public for early public comment. Okay. Hearing none, we'll go to, let's see, I don't see.
Oh, I think Rob is trying to unmute.
Yeah.
And
Oh, yeah.
He has AT&T and his internet is wonky.
Oh, okay.
All right. Oh, he's trying
Can you hear me
again.
now?
Yep.
Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Now
we
we
can.
can. There we go. Okay, I changed settings. Okay. Three things. Jan, information for you that with the Zoom room as it's set up at the last meeting, none of the hosts could record the meeting because I'm not sure what the settings are, but they didn't have the option to hit the record button.
Interesting.
So I recorded it and posted it to YouTube. And if the township or if you need it, you can download it from YouTube.
Okay, thank you very much, Rob.
Yeah,
Pleasure.
he was, what he's alluding to, Jan, is that it said that we needed to get the, what are you called? What is your position? The chair? No, the
Host.
host.
Oh,
The
the
host.
PC chair. Yeah, it's the
No,
host.
the
It was
host.
my Scio Township thing, and I'm not sure how you. I don't know if there's an optional setting for that or not, but I'll look at that. Hopefully, I won't be missing any more. So,
Maybe what you could do would be to elevate Jackie to a co-host, and that might or
Yeah.
whoever is a
yeah, we don't. I don't have those permissions, but I think I might. Maybe I could. I don't know. Anyway, because I don't have full permissions in my account for the township, but we'll see if that's an issue again. We'll
just an FYI.
yeah, thanks.
And then I just talked to Pam
Uh-huh.
on her cell phone, and Pam lives about 300 feet from me, and she called my landline, and that's the first cell call we've gotten in the area. So that shows that the cell tower is still out.
Wow.
And Pam actually saw the cell tower get zapped. So that's an issue. And then third thing is, how can we add last week's power outage to environmental sustainability task force discussions? One thing Pam brought up was a volunteer group to get the word out where the fire station had potable water. And then DTE actually had a truck at the Dexter Crossing strip mall where they were handing out ice and gallon jugs of water. Maybe there is a community effort that will assist the residents when something like that happens again. Because
Yeah.
I can imagine, I mean, we've lost power for 6 days in February and 4.5 days last week.
Yeah.
And it's, you know, in the winter, it's not as well. In the winter, the issue is the pipes freezing. And in the summer, it's my poor 93-year-old mother suffering and our 86-year-old neighbor suffering and losing food in the fridge and that sort of thing. So,
yeah, we need a communication system for emergency. Yeah, I mean, just power outages, any of that kind of stuff. Yes, and that I will add that to it. Actually, that belongs in the plan.
Jan,
to establish something like
I'll
that.
send you my email that I sent to Clerk Jessica because I chatted with her over the weekend of the storm. And she has experience living in California, having I believe it's a resident initiated emergency plan of all those things.
Yes.
And I think that having it resident initiated with township approval, I was going to call on all of the different committees to say, can you get somebody to be a part of this? I'm looking for co-captains.
Mhm.
So yeah, I'll send you what I sent to Clerk Jessica and give you an idea of my thoughts, because
Mhm.
anyway.
Yeah, you need to know who especially is vulnerable, to be sure to check in and et cetera. Because I know this year we have our generator it keeps hours. We're on 500 hours for our generator.
Wow. Wow.
Okay, every week you can subtract 5 minutes.
Right. One other thing that we could also talk about as the task force is hardening our systems to make them more resilient to these sorts of issues. And with global warming, that looks like that's going to happen more and more often.
Yeah, definitely. That's a really good piece. Actually, hardening utilities is one of the action items for the resilience piece. But yeah, but I think that the whole idea, the resident initiated emergency plan, is great, because that's something that we can do. Hardening the utilities is a long slog, and it isn't all in our control, but
Well,
yeah.
and remember, the township was without power because their backup generator didn't work. So
For the second time.
Oh, is it the second time? Okay.
Oh,
And
yes.
so they didn't have the manpower or the electronics, and I went to the fire station to try to get internet, and Chief Hood is saying, we don't have internet either. It's kind of like, why I'm asking you to send out this message.
Yeah, right. So yeah, it's hard. Yeah, in an emergency, that's the biggest thing, is there are the communications, your normal communications are down.
Right.
We do have some ham radio operators in the township too.
Yes, we do. And my husband became passed the test and could be one. We have just a handheld. But yes, that's a great idea, is to get those people communication with those people too.
Yeah.
One other thing that was interesting or different about this past one was we get our internet through AT&T, our direct TV through satellite, and our cell phone through the cell phone tower. And we were without power. We had no internet, no phone, because that came through the same system, no landline phone.
Wow.
And our cell phone was down to text. Well, the first couple of days it was nothing, but then it was text only for several days. And now today we learned that in terms of voice, Pam was fading in and out quite a lot. And usually we have good coverage here. So the cell tower is still damaged. So, that was all of the systems were impacted.
Yeah, that was interesting. We have AT&T phone, and that was the only thing that was up. And then I was able to do personal hotspots, but that was the only reason we could do that, is because the AT&T was working. So I think our cell tower, is the one at Skyline.
Okay.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, we should also figure out, who's, what the cell tower coverages are. And so, there could be a lot of things to do. Yeah, very interesting. Yeah, because if it's something bad happens and we have no emergency plan, and somehow relying just on I don't know that the county really responds to minor things, it's more like tornadoes and etc. But oh well. Okay, good thoughts.
Last point I can tell you, it was all but a tornado here. I was out on the front porch, and we were 5 seconds from carrying Mom downstairs because it was that bad. And then it tailed off quickly, but boy, I would have been that day I would have been surprised if there wasn't a tornado south of us because it was that bad. But
Wow.
apparently it was a straight line.
Yeah, but you know, wind gusts of 80 miles an hour, significant.
Thanks for all that extra time.
Yeah, thank you. All right.
Following up on what Rob just said, Rob, I got to say that, you know, I'm living right near you. We had twisty winds. When I returned home the day after, we had trees that were down that were shattered by twisting on their way down. So
Interesting.
and it skipped around in the woods.
Well,
Okay.
maybe. Yeah. All right. And okay. So on to I think Zoe's online. I don't yep. All yours.
Cool. Thank you, Jan.
Yes.
Hello, everybody again. Yeah, so just a quick update on what Kyle and I have been doing since we last met. We were supposed to present at the Roads Advisory Committee meeting yesterday, but they ended up not having a meeting this month. They're going to just continue their schedule next month in September. So we went ahead and made slides for that anyway, and maybe someone else from the task force, Kathy or someone, will take the reins next month when Kyle and I are no longer working and present to them then. The next presentation we have is with the land preservation.
Zoe?
Yes.
Sir,
Yes, sir.
what was the organization you were planning to present to?
The Roads Advisory Committee.
Thank you.
Yes. Yeah. So that will be in September then. And so, yeah, the Land Preservation Commission is next week, August 10th. We plan to present with them. Just on the plan again. Next, we also finalized our brochure and our flyer that we plan to pass out to Scio residents. That discusses the plan and things that they can do to take action with the climate. And we plan to link to the webpage with all of the resources that you guys are sending to us right now.
Okay, could you send me a copy of that and I'll send it out with our minutes?
The brochure and flyer?
Yep.
Yeah, sure. And I also have them pulled up. I was gonna see if you guys wanted to see them.
Oh, yeah, go
If I
ahead.
could share my screen just to show you guys kind of what they look like. Let me see if I'm able to. Oh yeah, nice. Okay, let's see. So this is the first page of the brochure. So this is what we'll be handing out hard copies to residents. Like we're gonna have a bunch of them ready for the October event that you guys are putting on. And then we'll just, you know, throw them around the township and other locations, whatever opportunities that there are to distribute. So I don't know if you guys wanna, I guess we can send them out afterwards too, so you guys can all like look through them in more detail, but
Yeah, that'd be great.
this page looks like. And this is the second page. Right here is where we're gonna have the QR code that links to the webpage with all of your resources for each of the working groups. And new ambassador program. Oh yeah, that's page 2 of the brochure. And finally, this is the flyer that, oh, what happened? There we go. Yeah, it's the flyer that we plan to distribute virtually to people. So we're hoping that each of the working groups will have a link connected to their names that will take residents directly to the web pages with all of the resources and information.
Sorry, I have a puppy whining.
Oh, cute.
That's because everybody else is outside and I'm on a meeting.
Oh, yes. But yeah, cool. So that is those things. And then finally, yeah, the webpage, we've just been working with Mary on the design of the webpage, what we're wanting it to like look like and be cohesive, and all the different images that we want pertaining to each of the topic areas. And yeah, just a reminder to whenever you get a chance to send the links and resources pertaining to your working group to us so we can get that going on the webpage. That is all.
Go ahead, Bob.
Okay, the links, Zoe, that you were talking about and you were showing where they would be, is
Mhm.
that going to take it to the township website and then to lists that we are going to? I know that we'd been asked for links, but this sounds like it's something that's going to be on the flyer that will actively take somebody to our website or our township website. Is that correct?
Yeah, so with the flyer, that is what we'll be passing out digitally. And we were thinking that with that one, residents can just select whichever working group or topic area that they want to learn more about. And it will take them directly to the webpage pertaining to that working group or topic area.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
Yeah. And then the brochure, that QR code will take residents to the main ESTF page. And on the ESTF page, we're going to have, like, similar to the flyer, all of the focus area options that they can click on.
With the flyer, can we, it's going to be distributed via email, right?
Yeah.
So
like,
people can then use the links. I got it.
exactly.
And
Yeah.
we're going to go to HOAs and then our kind of email list to people and boards and commissions and that kind of thing. Is that the idea?
Exactly. Mhm. I believe so, yeah. That's the plan. Cool. Any other questions?
Yes, our group is producing a list, like I've done one. We kind of divided up what things we were going after. In my case, it was recycling facilities that are, I listed all the ones actually in the county, you know, not just Scio Township, but I figured they could be filtered down. But I have links, you know, I literally went to the websites, got an address, phone number, a link to their website, but you're looking for QR codes.
No, links are what we were looking for. Yeah. The only
Okay, because you mentioned QR codes and I thought maybe we needed to convert those, so. Okay,
Right, yeah, it's a little
right.
confusing. I probably could have explained it better, but
No.
no, the QR code is just what's gonna go on the brochure. So that when we pass those out in hand, like in person, then people just have to scan the QR code with their phone. It's just easier if when it's a hard copy like that.
Got it.
But
Okay,
yeah.
I'll send my list right after the meeting and hopefully Karen and Bob aren't too far behind me. So, okay, cool, thank you.
Yeah, and one other thing, how much of this can we get into the newsletter? Can we assemble it? Because I think I thought it was the 25th, but I guess it's the 18th is the newsletter deadline. So if we can kind of compile some of this into an article too, then it usually takes like 3 hits for somebody to actually respond, maybe. So if we can do, you know, the newsletter and the flyer and you know, and then have the brochure handed out, that it gives people quite a bit of opportunity to engage.
Charlie, can you repeat what you said? The minute you started talking, my internet connection cut out.
Yes, I would just letting the group know that we are coming up with a list of these resources. That I'm going to send one right after this meeting. I know Karen and Bob were working on some. I'm not sure where they're at with theirs. But my question was, because I saw that you were looking for QR codes in part of it, is whether we can just send text links to a place's website or whether you needed that in the form of a QR code. For what we have to submit as our group, it's just the actual links, not QR codes.
Okay.
Cool. Any other questions? Okay, Dan, I think you're good.
Okay,
Thanks, everyone.
I'm taking a few notes too. Yeah. So anything that you can email me would be great. All right. Then on to, all right. The resources, I just want to make sure, I think we sent some in from energy. It sounds like waste and materials are good. They're coming. Anything, Chris, did you guys forward some stuff for mobility and transportation?
We didn't, but it's ready to go. So I
Okay.
can do that after the meeting.
Perfect. Okay. And then I will check in with I know I had a conversation, Dana and Tim are actually working together on the farms, on the farm stuff now, so I'll check in with them. And they've actually started, they're going to be doing a production survey this summer of what the farms are actually producing in Scio. So that'll be, and doing it with the GIS map. So we'll have mapped farm production inventory, which is kind of cool.
That'll be interesting.
Yeah, and then we'll have an idea of how much is really being, even though we have agricultural lands, how many of those, what's the quantity and sort of the production capacity of the actual working farmlands. So that it's very different from just agricultural lands. All right. I will make that note to add.
Charlie, would this be a good time to bring up what our group is doing?
Sure.
Yeah, so I'm thinking James the chair.
Yes, I thought we would brief them on our conversation with enjoy location, drop off recycling bin.
Your audio is going funny, Jeff.
Chip
We
off.
missed part of that.
Yes, I know. I switched connections.
Ah.
It's still giving me trouble. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
this one's good though.
I'm that.
Oops, I jinxed it.
Yep, I think you blew
You
him up.
hear that, Charlie?
No, you dropped completely out. You want me to go ahead and do it?
Can you hear me now, please?
Barely.
Do we want to go have Charlie do it?
Yeah, I might have to.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, where Jeff was going is that we did have a meeting with now I can't say her name, our new manager, township manager.
Oh, Joyce.
Yes, Joyce, thank you. And basically what came out of that is, I think as the group was aware, we did get an offer from GFL to put like a permanent little station behind Scio Township. And we have some details on that, but enough details. So what's going to happen there is Joyce and Will are going to contact GFL, get those details that we want. After that, they may bring me into the conversation just because of the experience that I had with those Saturday events we used to do that way.
Mhm.
But it sounds like we're all in favor of actually doing something with them. We think there's some real value in that. We just need to get a little more detail on an exact cost. As far as Recycle Ann Arbor is concerned, we did all have copies of their latest proposal. And I think we're all kind of the same opinion that there's a lot of redundancy with other available services that already exist.
Mhm.
On the other hand, I guess I could see some use in having multiple ways of, say, getting rid of home toxics. Maybe something doesn't work for somebody, but another place that they could do that does. But it's still some redundancy. Their voucher program really only saves residents a $3 entry fee. And some of the things that we want to, that are problems, are styrofoam and sheet plastic, for example, which typically have to be taken over to the Ellsworth station, but you're probably going to spend more than $3 driving over there. So we question what the value of that is. On the other hand, there was some parts of that involved residents being able to get rid of their old televisions and things like that.
Mhm.
That I think maybe does still have some value. So We want to look at the GFL situation, see where we're at with that first. Then we may go back to Recycle Ann Arbor and say, well, what if we only did these parts? Also, Jeff had had some contact with Shoepan, which is a company that recycles electronics and does an excellent job of it. And that was in regards to them doing an electronics recycle day here in Scio Township. Joyce and Will both really like that idea as well. Jeff has made further contact with them and got more information from them. The challenge we have there is because it would be our first event, we don't know what the turnout's going to be, and that affects labor charges and things like that. So we can only get really a very ballpark idea of what this is going to cost. We really have to do one to really get a feel for it. But I also got the impression that Joyce and Will would be interested in pursuing that also. And that even if it was a very, very successful event, that maybe we consider doing another one, but inviting other residents, you know, countywide, something more similar to what Pioneer High School used to do. But that's down the road, depending on how this first one goes. So we think that's probably in the works as well. And if Jeff can talk to us at all, I'll defer to him in case I missed anything. Wow.
That sounds like a negative.
Yeah. Well, you can't talk. Well, you can talk, we just can't hear him.
Yeah.
Can you
Yeah,
hear me
it's
now?
connection. Ah, there you go.
Not really, Jeff.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm gonna put some comments in the chat.
there you
Okay,
go. Yeah,
thank you.
thanks.
Okay. Yeah, all right. Chris,
Yeah, I had a quick question, and maybe you mentioned this in the beginning of the meeting, and I joined a little late and didn't hear it, but is there any plan to offer drop-off compost, drop-off center for compost within the township for residents?
Not
Not at the
currently,
moment,
that's-
no.
Yeah, that's one of the things we've been working on and we're hoping to establish, but we don't currently.
now
Okay.
GFL, my understanding is GFL is taking compost, right? But
Only yard waste.
yard waste,
not food
not
waste.
food waste.
Sorry, I was particularly talking about food waste.
Mhm.
I did contact the same center. I'm blanking on the name, but the center that the city of Ann Arbor uses for its food waste, I think it's south of Ellsworth, and they do allow the public to drop off food compost there, but it's a minimum $17 a yard, and it's not exactly convenient for Scio Township residents to drive over there. But I was wondering if there was any discussion of, you know, having a centralized drop-off center within the township, and then once the township amasses a large amount, they could transport it to that location.
Yes,
We're
that has
trying.
been part of our discussion.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's more the, Ren's Farm kind of thing. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I don't know, Chris, they're a little bit pricey. We've had some good luck using a Lomi.
Yeah, I've heard that suggestion as well, and that seems really convenient. I need to do the math to figure out the carbon emissions from the energy consumption versus
From the energy consumption, I don't have a meter, on it. We use My Green Power, so technically it's
Sure.
yeah. But we've been really pleased with it. And it's because we had some issues with animals, and this eliminates that totally. So
Well, I was
Great, thank you.
researching recycling links. I happened to notice that Ypsi Township had some language, but I didn't drill down far enough. But it appeared to me that they're taking compost from residents, and you don't have to be a resident of Ypsi Township. So that's something to maybe take a look at. Of course, that's the other side of town, but
yeah, unless you have an electric vehicle, right?
yeah, there you go.
But no, it is. It is.
Jan,
issue. Yeah, go ahead, Bob.
Rob was asking what a loamy is. You could
Oh.
explain that.
It is a little quasi countertop device that you put your food waste in. You can, any kind of food waste can go in it, and paper, that kind of, like paper, if you use paper towels or, and it heats and grinds and overnight turns it into like soil. So we basically do it probably every other day and dump the soil into like a container that then we can mix in the gardens. And it seems to work pretty well. Yeah. And, so if you're in an apartment or something, you could actually do it. Yeah. It's pretty amazing. It goes from like eggshells and coffee and, banana peels into dirt. Oh. It was a Christmas gift to us. So, yeah. Let's see. All right. So, then anything else on the resource links or anything? We'll just chase a few more down. And great. All right, then we'll move on to our October, and just so everybody has it on their calendar, it is, I just want to make sure I've got the date right here. It's a Sunday, and it's the Sunday before Halloween, so it's Sunday, October 29th, and the fire station open house goes from 1 to 4. So the thought was that we would have similar hours, and we would primarily use the township hall, use the hall and some outdoor spaces. So if we wanted to do some things with the conservation district, et cetera, with rain barrels, hopefully at the township hall, we can have somebody talking from Homeland talking about the solar and the native plants once we get them planted. And so some things at the township hall, so we can have some people making sure that people know that there are things going on at the township hall as well as the fire station. And so with that, had people kind of had a chance to brainstorm some ideas of, because what'll be important is if we want other organizations there or vendors there, to contact them now so that they can carve out that time and we can get an idea of how many people need to be inside, how many people outside, what happens if we have really crappy weather, etc. Rob Pattinson.
How about adding a farmer's market to add to the organic aspect of what's going on in Scio Township and buying local, maybe a farmer's market as part of the October, especially since that's harvest season as well. That might be an option.
Yeah, or maybe some, I don't know if we could have like a whole market as much as a few vendors that might bring some stuff in, or some information on CSAs. Tim may be able to organize that. Okay.
On a tangent note,
Yes.
one thing Jeff said in chat reminded me on the way home from Saline today, we passed 2 farm parks, and Scio Township has several plots of property from widening Jackson Road in the 90s, where they had to buy a whole parcel but didn't necessarily use it all. So there's bits and pieces of land along Jackson Road. And how about bringing together a weekly farmers market, maybe on one of those parcels or maybe at Township Hall, because the only farmers market I know of is in Dexter. So there isn't really one sort of local to Scio Township, and that might be a way of using some of those extra parcels. it's a bit of a tangent, but just sort of FYI.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to ask the farmers, whether they'd be, interested in something like that. Because obviously that's, one of the issues with that is time versus what you actually sell. So it'd be important to get, good people, a good interest in having those.
Chelsea has a pretty substantial farmer's market on Wednesday. At the bank there at the the main drag corner, not in town, but by the post office, across the street from the post office. And in the summertime, I make use of that pretty much every week when I go visit my mother-in-law, and it's a sweet little, and yeah, that's kind of missing. We don't have that hometown feel because we're a shadow of Ann Arbor. And that's an interesting thought to potentially try to make Scio more of a hometown feel.
And having some sort of, gathering spot that you could do things like that would be helpful. All right. Okay.
I mentioned in the last meeting that if you want to teach people various things at this, piggybacking on the fire station, that you find a scout troop that wants to earn a badge, and you teach those kids the different aspects that you want taught at this meeting, and then you have the kids teach. That way they are able to speak to the littler kids, but also adults might be more interested to listen to kids. I mean, in a weird kind of way, I could see that happening.
It is, yeah.
So that was my contribution last week or last month.
Yeah, interesting. You happen to have any scouts that you know?
Rob, that would be up your alley.
Well, I am an Eagle Scout, but I am not involved in any local troops. Unfortunately, I'm not a parent of a son, and that would be very awkward to be that. I know that if I was a parent with a son in a scout troop, I would wonder who is that single person without children in my scout troop. So I never was able to.
Oh, that's too bad. But you're scout leader, and so I wonder if and I'm sorry, I'm blanking on his name. I wonder if he would still have connections.
No, his kids are long gone. But I will look around and see if Troop 123 is still around. And I know our church has scout troops, so I will start asking around.
That'd be great.
Yeah, and I'll see, I have some association with the Girl Scouts, so maybe I can round up that angle. Okay, we'll send Rob on the on the BSA, and I'll take the Girl Scouts Heart of Michigan.
Is it okay if I send them to you as a contact?
Sure.
Okay, and then you can make your own.
And then I can see what focus groups they're interested in, and send them to the focus groups too.
Okay,
for
perfect.
some content. Yeah, that would be fun, because then they could, get. The other thing is, it's meeting adults that are doing sustainability too, and I think that could be a very interesting way of also engaging more people. All right. Other ideas from folks?
Yes. Materials and waste had a meeting Monday night. And of course, that was one of the items on our agenda. And we kept thinking, well, what do we do for like a demo or something for recycling? And I'm going to defer to Karen because she came up, I think, with a really good idea, but I want to have her take the credit for it. So Karen?
Sorry, you were talking about the demo?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I have some worm towers that I can bring. It's vermicomposting. It's perfect for a family. And it's doable. It's easy. I mean, I got mine through a buy nothing. It was another a new mom who was neglecting her worms, and I was looking for some. So she gifted me a handful of worms and their worm tower. But I've also done vermicomposting in just a regular large container. So I can speak to that as well.
Oh, I think that'd be really interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's perfect for a family who just wants to do a little composting in the house. Yeah.
Cool. And less energy intensive than the Lomi.
Yeah, it's not as fast. But
And the
you know,
kids
the
will like
kids
the
get to
idea of
play with
worms.
worms.
Yeah, I think that'd be great. Yeah, and I could probably bring the Lomi and, you know, a bucket of what you put in and what you take out for people to see it.
Yeah.
And I'm sure we can get some other, maybe some other, you know, composting like I think you can get those, the rotating composters, maybe from the county. And
I have one of those too, in my garden down the road.
that might be hard to.
It's a
rotate.
little bit harder to bring, but I could take it apart and bring it.
Okay. Yeah, let's see if maybe next door they have some, you know, at the county. That'd be easy to bring them over and see what because I think they could do the rain barrels, they could do the composters, they could do the information on their the composting programs. I mean, all the educational programs that they have. So I think what I think is very successful is to have some like materials that people can, you know, do QR codes or get, you know, data, but also some hands-on type of things that, you know, will engage people in you know, doing more. Okay, that's a really good. I love the worm towers. That's cool. Thank you, Kieran.
You're welcome.
And it's even a better story that you got them from Buy Nothing.
Yeah, yeah. It's really, it was great. It was just perfect. Exactly what I was looking for.
Cool. Right. Let's see. I think I have the notes from energy.
Is the fire station going to present the solar arrays?
Yeah,
and the
I'm gonna
data?
actually see, I think we can get Homeland there. Yeah, so I wanted to have I think we can, you know, that'll be a really good demonstration for Homeland, and they have the link for, you know, the generation too, so you can look at that. And I see like having Julie Roth or someone from the Solarized program. So if people have questions, and maybe she can get 40 people that are interested in, you know, having a Solarized program, even at the event. And then also having the My Green Power enrollment. So if people don't have that, just because you can't install solar, you know, there's another option for you to purchase renewables. And then the other ideas that we had was have some kind of demo for geothermal systems, and you know, cold climate heat pumps. I don't know how we can, I know with the Geo, you can have like the different types of tubing that they have, and, you know, a kind of some visuals, but it's kind of hard to have something, a hands-on demonstration for that. And, you know, paired with that are sort of the different types of cold climate heat pumps. And then we thought it would be good to have some financing, because people are always going to say, you know, how could I afford this and so forth. And perhaps we can get a rep from Michigan Saves, the DTE residential, you know, energy efficiency programs, and then have, I was wondering, I was maybe going to ask David Reed. He has a whole YouTube video documentation of the house that they built, which is a net zero house. And that might be kind of fun to have, you know, an opportunity for people to view that video. It was done by his son, which is kind of cool. And, you know, so sort of multimedia, if you will. I don't know. Those were kind of our thoughts. Rob.
One more idea.
Yes.
You were talking about heat pumps, and I subscribe to the MakerWorks GoTech group that is techno geeks talking about technical stuff.
Yeah.
And apparently GE has come out with a new all-in-one washer dryer that is heat pump driven and extremely efficient. And that made me think you might want to get in contact with Marty Hedler at MakerWorks, and they might be very available to bring some sort of presentation to the group that because they have they've got a vast array of interests and groups and projects, and there might be something there. And that's MakerWorks at Costco, across the street from Costco, in amongst all the office buildings back there.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Can you send me his contact info, maybe?
Absolutely.
It was Marty Hedler, I think you said. Yeah. Yeah. Chris.
I just bought that washer, that heat pump washer dryer combo. It arrives in 2 weeks, so I'll be happy to report how well it works for everyone. But separately, the reason why I bought one was because my dryer broke, and it sent me down a rabbit hole of researching heat pump clothes dryers. And I documented everything that I learned. I've got to clean it up, but once I do clean it up, I'll share it with the group. And maybe that's content that might be appropriate for the website, but I'll let everyone decide.
Okay. All right. I was thinking too, I think my son has a bunch of like solar, he does a lot of solar charging for batteries for his fishing stuff, and just having something like that where you can see, you know, the small scale uses of solar. Yeah. Might be okay. All right. Let's see, Chris has the heat pump dryer.
I used, during the power outage, I used 4 garden lights, solar garden lights, and I vased them, put them by the water station in our kitchen for midnight water refreshing. It works so well.
Yeah,
I highly recommend it.
Yeah, I have the solar lights that have little handles on them. So, you know, once they're charged, you can take them off the stand, and you can, you know, take them anywhere and hang them and have a little hanger on them. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, use those solar lights. That's cool. Yeah. Hey. I think, and mobility, do we want to try and get, I just got an e-bike from REI that I'd be glad to bring, and people could try it. I know if other people have those. if we could get, some, I don't know if anyone has scooters or, might be fun to have a variety of mobility type things that people could, try.
Yeah. Kathy was talking, I don't remember the name of the business, but there's an electric bike company in Ann Arbor. They're next to the Knights Market meat shop on Miller. If anyone remembers the name of that e-bike place, they used to be in Carytown, but they're very popular within Ann Arbor. So she was thinking she could reach out to them, see if they would come and bring some of their electric bikes and electric scooters to display. That would be ideal. The other thing that I said I do, I have an EV and a PHEV, so I can bring both of my cars, demo them. For electric power yard equipment, I can bring my own personal stuff, chainsaw, backpack blower, weed whacker, that sort of thing,
Oh,
to
cool.
put on display.
Yeah, we just have a leaf blower. That's all we've done so far. But yeah,
Yeah,
I think
it'd be good if
see and feel those things is really important. Yeah, try them out. Yeah,
absolutely. Maybe not the chainsaw, but definitely the leaf blower.
I don't know. We could put it out back, right?
If there's no kids running over from the Halloween party.
My husband swears by his electric chainsaw. It's the best.
Yeah, we could always, cordon off an area, with, some snow fencing or something like that, and, have a demonstration. But that'd be fun. It'd be fun to have, like, I'm trying to think of how you can do these demos so that people, can try things, and so it's not just a walk by and so forth. Yeah, I think that'd be cool.
I just had to retire my gas operated lawnmower and I decided to go battery electric, and I absolutely love it. It works really well. It's lighter, it's quieter, and not having to mess around with gasoline. I just go out, drop the battery in it, and I'm off and going. They're absolutely beautiful. Highly recommend them.
Yeah, you know what? I'm getting excited because I think it'll be really fun to and I think what'll be important in our advertising of this is to really talk about the things that people can try. I think that would be, this is like other residents sharing their experiences with XYZ, which really takes on more of that community aspect. Very cool. All right. All right. Popping a couple things on chat. Then, all right, so continue to compile those, and we'll probably if it needs coordination with someone to reach out to, go ahead and reach out. And then what we'll do is try and finalize everything at our September meeting, so we can allocate space and kind of figure out where and how we're going to sort of organize this whole thing. I think that'll be important. So great ideas, and this is going to be so much fun. Karen, do the worm towers need to be inside or outside?
Sorry. I'm sorry. If it's not too hot, they can be outside. I'd probably keep them in the shade.
Although in October it'll be cool.
Yeah, they should be fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Then the next thing is, I have to say, I don't know how many people attended, I thought Kathy did a really good job about a lot of EV statistics, talking about the charging park that Lithia is proposing in a PUD. And I wanted to thank, she wasn't here, but I wanted to talk to people and saying that, that I think that's really neat when there's a certain level of research and data that the Environmental Sustainability Task Force can bring. There's advocacy, and then there's also education, and I think she did a good job on both of those things. And there will be a public hearing at the Planning Commission for August 28th. It should be relatively early in the agenda, and so it would be nice if maybe a volunteer from each of the focus groups could just kind of chime in a little bit about perhaps why it's important to you and why the area and the action steps are important for Scio to adopt. I don't think it needs to be, a full 3 minutes, or if you can't attend the public hearing, if you want to prepare an email, that would be great as well. I think it's important for people to understand, even though we talked about the 21 people that participated in creating the climate action plan, to hear multiple voices is always important. So thank you if you can contribute either through an email, or you can attend by Zoom, or you can attend in person. And those meetings start at 7. And so usually the public hearings start no later than 7:15. Okay. And with that, any other public comment? I just appreciate both Rob and Pam just participating, because that makes more sense than just, reserving, what you want to say to public comment, but thanks.
I would like to suggest we read Jeff's comments, his chat comments, so they don't get lost just in text, where he says, first, I'm working with Schupan to establish good dates for an electronics recycling event and the costs. And then he said, second, Will mentioned that the new property the township acquired has a pile of old tires on it. I did some research, and the state of Michigan has a grant program to help municipalities with recycling tires. I will forward the application information to the supervisor and the manager.
Okay, and we also have a volunteer grant writer in Elizabeth Laporte. So if the manager wants to go after that grant funding and needs someone to help write the grant, that is what she is willing to do. So that would be great. Thank you. And I did copy and paste into my little note taking here those comments in chat. So, all right. Then minutes. Does anyone have any additions or changes to the minutes from the last meeting? And we'll add the YouTube recording, Rob. Okay, could I have a motion to approve the minutes?
I
So
would
moved.
move.
All right,
I
moved by
support.
Bob Hyde, and there was support from
I'll take mine as support. We chimed in at the same
Char.
time.
Oh, okay, Charlie. Okay, great. Okay, then all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, and we'll approve those with the YouTube recording. Any other announcements? I just want to announce that August 11th at the farmers market, the city is doing their this will be the second annual electrification expo, and you can there are a lot of vendors and food and so forth. It's kind of a fun event, so if anyone's interested in that, that will be coming up shortly. Anyone else have anything else going on that they want to announce?
I want to go on record to say that the next meeting, September, October, November, December, that's depressing. That's winter or summer is over. I'm sorry, but I looked at that and it's like, no, no, it can't be over yet.
I can't wait for
Sorry.
it to cool down.
Well, yes, I'm on that same page, Bob, but my husband is the person who likes the hot, and he gets cranky when fall comes around.
Okay. All right. Then with that, I want to again thank everyone and excited to start interacting with people and kind of the implementation phase of this all. So thank you. And oh, one other thing, it kind of interestingly, the 2030 district benchmarks for people for the city of Ann Arbor's benchmarking ordinance, and it's starting to have a huge effect. People are saying, oh my gosh, our buildings are that bad. What can we do? And it's refreshing. So anyway, I think there's hope. So thanks again. And
Thank you, Dan.
okay, enjoy the rest of your evening. And hopefully, I don't know if it's clear enough for the moon. The moon was gorgeous last night. So take care.
Good night, everybody.
Bye.
Night.
I